the rumors are true. Ural's making some big changes, and we're going to talk about that in the next video. My name's Jamie, and you're in the Sidecar. Before we get started, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like if you like what you see. We're a brand new channel, so we're just starting out. If you like motorcycles with sidecars and all kinds of motorcycle stuff and gear and all that stuff, please subscribe and we'll take you on the journey with us. But for now, we're going to start talking about the big changes at Ural, and there are some really big changes. So Ural has made some massive changes, and we're going to talk about that. The news that came out today, and we got a newsletter on this. If you're subscribed to Ural, you'll know that they sent out a newsletter today with their big announcement. Their big announcement is Ural Neo, and what it means for the future of the company, we're going to find out in the next few months. But the information that came out of that email was very interesting, and I want to talk about that a little bit. So the big thing that they've announced is they're creating a new Ural line, which I don't think we've seen since the Ural Retro, or back when we had two different Ural models with the Ural Retro and the Gear Up, or the Tourist. It was called all kinds of different things. But at this point now, we only have one model of Ural, and that's the tried and true sort of Gear Up model. It's had the CT with the one-wheel drive version, but at the same time, Ural's been very much a consistent look in the last 5 to 8 years. This is a big change for them, and I know that they've had a rough time in the last few years with their factory moving to Kazakhstan from Russia because of the war. So that was an interesting change in itself, but it seems as though there's been a lot of movement since then as well. I heard some rumblings, I won't say from where, but I did hear some rumblings about this a few months back, which I found very interesting, that there would be an entry-level model of Ural that was going to come out. What's really cool is they announced this now. So the Ural Neo, it's almost like a second line to a certain degree, a very different look of a sidecar compared to the traditional Urals, which I thought was very interesting. I think it's a 500cc bike. The article, there's an article that Ride Apart had, so they got to ride one of their prototypes, which obviously they plastered throughout the whole article that there's going to be changes, and it was only a prototype. But there was some interesting stuff in that article. If you get the chance to read it, I recommend it. But it's from the ground up, we're seeing a completely different bike. So those of you who are used to the Ural Gear Up, and there are so many people that are used to Gear Up, myself included, and I'll get to that in a second. This is a completely different looking bike. It's almost akin to the Harley Davidson Livewire in look, with the sidecar. Obviously, the sidecar is somewhat familiar. It looks a lot like the Ural sidecar, which apparently, according to the article, it's a bit smaller. So it's got that sort of interior padding, which is kind of interesting too. And I think there is a bit of continuity when it comes to a Chinese sidecar, and I'll get to that in a second. For those of you who have seen a lot of videos and reels, probably on Instagram, about these the Chinese sidecars. You'll know there's a certain look and feel to them. This is actually a little bit akin to that, so I thought that was interesting. But the most interesting thing with the whole article was what they're calling the legacy Ural motorcycle now. So the traditional gear up, if you will, which was the last model. As I said before, we had the retro, which was a different model that had different forks and stuff. But the gear up has been basically the tried and true for the last while. Kind of an uncertain future for Ural, which is for those legacy Urals, as they're calling them now. They're not really sure, and in the newsletter it actually mentions they're not sure if they're going to continue making them. So they're pausing production right now, which is really, really interesting. Their plant has been in Kazakhstan for the last while. When there's sort of a question, a Q&A at the end, and they mention the fact that they're not really sure if they're going to bring it back. So that's very interesting for those of you who own Urals. The traditional Urals, I guess you could say. It might be the last run for those, and they might shift their whole Ural line to this Ural Neo, which would be very interesting. I had heard rumblings, as I said before, of a 500cc motorcycle. It's very different looking, and I'll give you my impressions in a little bit. It's very different than Ural's usual sort of brand. But a little bit concerned about the legacy Urals. I think that that's been their bread and butter since the Soviet era, and I know that the company bought from the United States had bought the company and has made a really great name for them in the last while. But it's a big change, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that. So just to give you some background too, because I actually had a Ural at one point. So my Ural was a 2021 gear up. I had it for a good many years, up until this year actually. And because of downsizing, I decided to change up my whole makeup with motorcycles. I had a Triumph Speedmaster as well, which was a solo ride, and the Ural gear up. And what I decided to do, with the help of Old Vintage Cranks in Acton, Ontario, I added a rig to my Triumph motorcycle. The Ural was great. I loved the bike so much. It was a sort of olive drab green, had all the fun parts on it, very utilitarian, lots of racks and stuff like that, so you could carry all kinds of stuff. But because downsizing and whatnot, I decided that I would put a rig on my Speedmaster, which I've had since 2012. Super dependable motorcycle. I love it. And I loved riding sidecars, so I didn't want to give that up to the point where I'm probably giving up solo motorcycling for the foreseeable future, which is kind of an interesting thing. But overall, I mean, it was an interesting experience with it. I know that I had some issues when it came to the Ural. I know that there were some, when you talk to Ural owners, they'll often tell you either got a good one or you got a bad one. I think mine was somewhere in between, and I did have some issues with it. But the biggest thing that scared me is with the outcome of the Ukraine Russia war. It was getting harder and harder to get parts and to get service for that kind of thing. So I could see why they moved their factory to Kazakhstan, but also why they're maybe shifting to Ural Neo now. So an interesting take, but it's not surprising altogether though too, because when it comes down to it, there was that sort of gap that they were probably missing, and they mentioned it in the newsletter too, where they're trying to shift their business a little bit. So all around interesting. My take on this whole shift is, first of all, I think it's great to have an entry level. Maybe I don't know. We don't know what the price point is on this. We don't know much about it other than that sort of article where they talk about the prototype and stuff like that, which is very, very different than your traditional Ural. It looks completely different. Whether it has that sort of newer sort of look, a little bit of a dual sport bike kind of look to it. The sidecar pretty much the same as a gear up. Obviously, like I said, it's a little bit smaller, but the bike itself is very different to the point where you've got instead of a traditional sort of dash, you've got like a tablet. So very modern in that respect. It's an interesting thing. I assume from everything that they're saying, and we don't have all those details yet. I assume from everything that they're saying that it's going to be a little bit more affordable when it comes to a sidecar. So it'll probably attract some new customers that maybe have been on the fence about getting a motorcycle with a sidecar. And I will be making a video in the next while about what the advantages of having a motorcycle with a sidecar is. I'm biased, of course, because I love them, but at the same time, it's not for everybody. And some of you out there may be kind of on the fence about whether you want to get into this whole thing. And it's a slippery slope, and I'll go down with you if you like. But overall, I think it's good to have an entry level sort of Ural with this. Looks wise, it's not really my thing. I think that I err more on the side of traditional looking motorcycles when it comes to sidecars. But it's probably not a motorcycle that is for me. It's for someone who is probably more geared towards that look and feel. I do kind of. There's that part of me that the legacy Ural that I really hope that they find a way to keep making them, because that would be a huge loss. When you think back at the factory in Irbit in Russia and how they were making Urals since the Second World War, an outcome of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact for the history nerds out there. If it were the end of that, it'd be kind of sad, I think, because that legacy has been around for a long time. When you think of the motorcycle companies that have been around for a long time, the Triumphs, the Royal Enfields, Harley Davidson, those companies have stood the test of time, and to see possibly that style of motorcycle go the way of the dodo would be sad to me. So I hope that they figure out a way to make those, or at least maybe pivot the production to China, make them similar looking, and you will see some Chinese-made motorcycles with sidecars that are very retro looking, and just pivot it there. I hope that they're able to keep it going, but it could be that if you have a Ural motorcycle now, it might be some of the last that we have one video up right now, so you can watch it. We'll have some more as well. I'll talk a little bit about why I made those changes, how I made those changes, who I made those changes with, and my whole process with that. So I hope you come on the journey with me. Again, if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.